Fucking A. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And even though I have had plenty of bad movies that I have watched, not only this year, but for this 31 days, it's not like this is the first one, and it's not like it might not even be the worst of the year, but holy fuck was this bad. Like, I am struggling debating in my head whether or not this was the worst movie I saw all year because I saw the TV Glow, a 2024 film, and this is what blows my mind. This is what probably has me even more dumbfounded and confused starting this review, is because when you look this movie up, it has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I know that's not people saying it's 84% like good. I know how Rotten Tomatoes works. It's 84% of critics who have watched this film. That's how many think it's good. That's almost worse because you're telling me that out of 10 people that have watched this, 8 people thought it was good. I don't understand. It almost makes me feel like I'm an idiot, like I missed something, like I fell asleep and woke up and didn't know anything that was going on, because that was how I felt the entire time watching this. I felt like I was confused as fuck. Look, I do get that there are certain themes and certain maybe connections to people who may relate to the way these characters act and how these characters are. Like, I'm sure that there are parallels and there are things there. But there's so much wrong. This is directed by Jane Schoenbrum. I probably said that wrong. But I was more surprised that this was produced by Emma Stone and her husband. I love Emma Stone. Like, she's literally one of my favorites today. What happened, Emma Stone? This is also produced by A24. That's when I should have known that there was trouble to be had when I saw A24's name, because as good as some of their movies are, I feel like they're a studio that just put out movies that it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if they provide whatever the trailer tells you it's going to provide, as far as horror, or as far as suspense, as far as scares and thrills. No, this movie offers none of that, even though the trailer would have you think it does. I just, maybe it's me, it's almost like back when I didn't like movies like The Witch or Hereditary, or, they're just not my jam. And this might be another one of those cases. We have Justice Smith, who, I'm sorry, but I have never seen a good performance with Justice Smith. Every time I see him in a movie, he's either super awkward, super weird, super annoying, or just somebody that I don't want to see on my television or in the movie theater. And that sounds harsh, but I've tried to give this guy a chance. It's been 5 or 6 different movies where it's the same shit. This is the worst example of his bad acting. There's some weird voice that he puts on. I mean, he has a weird kind of voice in general, right? He's super nerdy and awkward and geeky, but like, I get that, and I can almost relate to that to a point. But here, he's like, who would want to be around this dude? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, that's his tone. That's his volume and level of voice throughout the entire film. He narrates some of this goddamn movie. Why? Why is that the main character? Why is he still getting lead roles? I should be championing and defending this guy because he's mixed race, right? He's light skinned black, just like me. Like, I should be like, fuck yeah, I finally get to see somebody on screen that looks like me. But when he sucks, He's not doing the culture well. Not even making it about that. It's seriously grating. It's seriously some of the worst acting, and something that, like, I contemplated turning this movie off at least 3 or 4 times. I was like, do I need to finish this? Like, do I need to? No, I don't need to. But because, and almost primarily because of how high the rating score was, the review score was, I said, maybe this ends in a way that makes it all make sense, or that makes people, or makes me think that's why they loved it. That's what they got out of it. But no, no. I am almost glad I saw it through to the end, to know that it's not just me, to know that I'm not crazy, to know that no, this movie just sucks. And look, this director, I know she did like a much smaller movie before this, and this was a slightly bigger budget, at least compared to what she's used to. It was only like $5 million. I will say that this director, Jane, she is a good director as far as the technical aspects, as far as some of these shots, the cinematography, the way that she uses the lighting in the room to accentuate certain shots, and the colors that are used. It's directed very competently and very impressively. Like, all of that, it's like, I will not shit on the director for any of that. But the monotone characters that are in this, the unemotional level of dialogue being given here, the long pauses of just nothingness being said, and characters staring at each other and being awkward. I get that there are people that are awkward, socially awkward, and don't really know how to interact with each other. I'm not saying that. But everybody in this movie acts like that. Every single fucking person. And we get introduced to Justice Smith at the beginning. He's narrating. And then it shows a little boy who I guess is supposed to be Justice Smith, but you go through this stuff of him meeting the girl Maddie in the film, and at first you think maybe he likes her, but I think it's more of just he just connects to her on some weird level. They watch this TV show together, and so he sneaks out and goes blah blah blah, right? All of this stuff happens, and this little kid is playing him. And that little kid was a better actor than Justice Smith, the older version. But when they show this little kid, I think they say he's in the 7th grade. They jump ahead 2 years. And then they jump ahead, and now Justice Smith is playing the character. You're telling me that that little boy in 2 years becomes Justice Smith? Huh? What? What? That just, I could not stop laughing. It said 2 years later, and you see Justice Smith, and I laughed for maybe 5 minutes straight. I just could not stop laughing because it was so ridiculous. It was so goofy, and they were trying to take it serious. This is not a parody or a comedy at all. That's another thing, is that this movie is so ultra serious. But let's talk about Maddie. Maddie, the grown-up version of Maddie, at least, is played by Bridget Lundy Payne, and I don't want to beat her up either. But she, too, suffers from the same, like, monotone, just unemotional level of talking, and, like, I get that her character is supposed to have this messed up backstory. She's a lesbian, so she sort of gets picked on by kids at school. She mentions her father beats her. Like, I get why she is so emotionally closed off, but you have her acting like that, and you have Justice Smith acting like that, and they're constantly interacting, or not interacting, just staring at each other. And I'm like, can we do something? Can we talk about something? Can we actually say something of substance? Instead of all of the scenes where they talk around circles, and they just ask these questions that don't say anything, and they take 5 minutes longer than they should to get to the point of whatever the hell they really want to talk about. Fuck. They watch this show. This is their favorite show, I guess, called The Pink Opaque? Something like that. And it's the show that, I guess it's supposed to be like a scary kid show, almost like when I was a kid and I used to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps. It seemed like a show like that. But when you watch the show, it seems like the weirdest, creepiest, should not be on regular TV type show I've ever seen. I'm talking about you have like characters with ooze coming out of their faces and kids getting kidnapped and tortured to death and buried alive. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is a kid's show? Now, they had a funny bit where much later on in the movie, Justice Smith, like, as he's older, because eventually they jump ahead 8 years, and it's still Justice Smith, whatever. So he goes on to a streaming thing to rewatch the show that he remembers watching as a kid. And when he watches it as an adult, he says, this isn't as scary as I remember. And when you rewatch it, it does look like the cheesiest kid show you've ever seen. I like the idea that when you're a kid, things seem way more scary, and then when you rewatch it back, you go, oh, this is what I was afraid of. It's like the only good thing I could say about this fucking movie is that little bit. I wish there were more things because it felt like there was something trying to be said. It feels like they were trying to convey what kids who do feel out of place go through, what it feels like for them, how they don't feel like they can talk to anybody, how whether it's because Maddie is a lesbian or whether because Justice Smith is gay or whether or not, maybe they're trans. I don't know what exactly the point of their characters feeling isolated was. I'm sure there is something to that, but I think everything else regarding this TV show that they watched and how weird all of that is and how Maddie goes missing and 8 years later she comes back and says that she was in the fucking show. I'm like, what the fuck is all of this? What is this? What are we doing? What? How is this good to people? Fred Durst plays Justice Smith's father. I just wanted to mention that because that was random as fuck. And I know that it takes place in like 1996 or some shit like that. I mean, obviously they jump ahead years. And I was hoping for way more of a 90s soundtrack and songs and whatnot, because at least I would have been able to vibe with that. But this movie did not have the budget for that, so I don't know why I kidded myself into thinking that was going to happen. Besides the directing and besides some of the shots looking good, I can't say anything good about this. I am shocked that this got as high reviews and as many people liked it as it did. I saw one review where the guy said that, like, there's things that I don't like about this movie, but with the way things play out, I don't think I'm supposed to like it. Huh? You're excusing the fact that you don't like this movie by thinking that or saying that it's supposed to make you not like things? Fuck off. Either you're a good movie or you like the movie or not. Stop with the mental gymnastics bullshit to try to convince yourself that this is good. This movie sucks. Fuck this movie.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I don't care how this comes across because I'm being honest. I'm being absolutely honest. I would rather rewatch every bad movie that you will see on my worst of this year. I'm talking Madam Web. I'm talking some of the worst shit. I would rather rewatch all of those. The Tyler Perry movies. I'd rather rewatch those than rewatch this. Anyways, guys, let me know if you saw this film or had even heard of I Saw the TV Glow. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. This is like therapy. Later.
Please won't you save my desires on fire? Sometimes you need a little peace at home. So wired, come follow me and I can lose you. Come follow me and take a trip to the dark side, waiting for